Start recording, please.
I started the recording, so.
Perfect. So we are now on live, right?
Correct. You're live.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. So yes, thanks everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome everyone to this regional webinar on scaling for impact, integrated WEFE Nexus innovations across regions and sectors. I am Maha Zabi, a regional researcher at IWMI, and I'm leading as well area of work 2 and the focal point for IWMI under the CGR Scaling for Impact program. So it's our pleasure to have such a diverse audience joining us from Middle East, Central Asia and beyond. Today's session is jointly organized by IWMI, the CGR Scaling for Impact program, the CGR Policy Innovation Program, and Blue Peace Central Asia Initiative. So our discussion today focuses on how governance, innovations, and institutional arrangement can help scale water, energy, food ecosystem nexus solutions in transboundary contexts, turning promising pilots into lasting regional cooperation. So before we start, let me share some logistics that we have English-Russian interpretation, so please try to use it. And we have the chat box for any comments and questions for the speakers, panelists. So, and now it's an honor to begin this webinar with welcoming remarks from our distinguished speakers. I will start with Dr. Timothy Krompnik, Director, CGR Scaling for Impact program, for a welcoming remark. So, Dr. Timothy, please, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Maha, and welcome to everybody that's here. I'm very pleased to be around such distinguished speakers for a very interesting topic, and so I'm excited for what we're all about to embark on hearing about and learning. I want to also really strongly recognize that this, as indicated, is not just something that's been done by the Scaling for Impact program of CGIAR, but is also with the Policy Innovations program of CGIAR, and that's particularly important because we like to work together in teams, and I want to recognize the strong leadership of IWMI in bringing everybody together for this event. The CGIAR Scaling for Impact program is new among CGIAR's portfolio. It's dedicated to ensuring that the products of research and innovations, be they about water, be about energy, environment, food systems, that they are all brought into practical use for real, lasting, and durable change. Our goal is not necessarily just to create new knowledge and information through research, but to ensure that it's applied to help transform food, land, and water systems in the context of a climate crisis. So this topic that looks at working around water, energy, and the food and environment nexus is right up our alley. It's the kind of thing that we are interested in because this approach and the complications that come from working in the intersectionality among these sectors is really a scaling challenge. You can't scale a food innovation without addressing a water or an energy innovation in many contexts. Similarly, you can't also work in the energy sector if you're interested in food systems without addressing the water sector and so on. So this kind of work and true scaling, bringing innovations into impact, can come only when you are linking approaches, you're boosting irrigation efficiency and energy access, you're linking it to soil health, you're linking it to ecosystem sustainability, and without becoming overly complicated, you're accounting for all of these different factors or aspects to try to actually work strongly on scaling.
Мы очень усердно работаем над расширением
the webinar, it's part of the area of work 5 for the Scaling for Impact program. Area of work 5 focuses on learning for impact and developing a culture of learning across across
того,
CGIAR
чтобы
around
достичь
scaling. It works to value
изменений.
the
И
experimentation and generation
это,
of knowledge
конечно,
around
эксперименты,
identifying the best
это
pathways for
знания,
scaling innovations and
и
approaches
для
that can be
расширения
responsible,
инноваций и
robust, and
подходов для того,
equitable. And it
чтобы
works to
создать
institutionalize learning and
ответственное,
feedback loops
устойчивое
from the
отношение.
scaling process that
И
move back
мы
into research and seeing that
для
research
того, чтобы
and
проводить
innovation from research
исследования
supports
и
scaling
чтобы
processes as well. And it
затем
basically
также
supplies an
смотреть.
evidence base upon which scaling can be placed and driven from. So many of today's challenges, as we'll hear about in the webinar, be they perhaps from the challenges of management of aquifers, river basins, energy grids, or even entire food systems, transcend boundaries. So we often think of scaling working within a particular country, but when we look and think about large-scale scaling of innovations, you see things that affect multiple countries. And scaling within the water, energy, and food and environment nexus particularly requires being aware of this and fostering cross-country collaboration and thinking about the potential negative and challenging consequences of scaling when you work across boundaries. And that's the subject of our discussion today. So CGIAR, together with our partners who are here today, and particularly the Blue Peace Central Asia team, is here to talk about how we've been working around transforming scientific insights and research outputs through trust building and coordinated action amongst countries to tackle these challenges across borders and boundaries. Again, the Scaling for Impact is pleased to support this event. It's about science-based innovation. It's about moving this work into practical use and about learning and sharing the results from this so we can all together as a team work towards such shared goals. We're very pleased to support this event, and we'd like to see that this is an articulation of lasting impact and the partnerships and fostering local ownership upon which scaling needs to be built. Again, we want to see context-specific, inclusive, institutionally embedded, conscious, responsible, and cross-border scaling approaches that are well considered and well designed as we move forward around the water, energy, food, and environment nexus. So I'm pleased to hear what each of our distinguished speakers has to say today and to learn from the webinar, which will also be posted online and made available through the Scaling for Impact newsletter so people can follow up and learn more about it as well. But thanks and welcome to today's event.
Thank you so much, Dr. Timothy. And now let me move to Dr. Barbara Ranos Pauleta, the country representative, Uzbekistan and regional representative, Central Asia, and the Blue Peace Central Asia lead. So Dr. Barbara, floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever we are. I'm so pleased that there is such a good opportunity here to speak to you, and so many people have joined us. I'm sure that we are coming from very different regions, as Maha was mentioning, at least from Central Asia and Middle East, and maybe even beyond, because indeed Nexus is as Timothy was has very well elaborated on the context. I think that also what we can stress that Nexus is also between the different regions, at least in IWMI, in CGIAR. We are trying to indeed ensure that this linkages between the different sectors which are ensuring the sustainable development are happening in our regions, but that we also learning from each other. And this is an example with this webinar. So thank you very much, everyone who has contributed to this knowledge and to set up this meeting today. As it has been mentioned, Central Asia is one of the focus region where IWMI is implementing the Nexus approach. It's happening under projects led by Dr. Zafar Gafurov and Nexus. He will be presenting today. It's also led as a project lead by Alexander Kalayenko, who is going to also speak today. And I'm really pleased about showing you these different approaches, because I see in our region, at least, that innovation to a big extent means maybe traditionally more innovation like technical innovation. And when we think about scaling for impact, the innovation, science-based innovation, I would I would like to just think about is what is really innovation, and that's not only the technical innovation, which maybe sometimes we are tempted to think about, but it's also policy innovation. It's also social innovation. It's also economical, environmental, probably much more beyond. And the projects which we are going to present to you today and discuss with you, they are exactly showing this approach, that this is really needed to have this innovative thinking at the very different elements. When we have started this webinar, Maha, as our moderator, was mentioning governance for Nexus. So I indeed think that this science, which is a basis for innovation in the policy, is something very strategic, because then we as a scientific organizations, we become very practical, practice oriented. And I think sometimes that it's really something what we should focus on, because there is never a limit for our perfection. We can, and we should, and we will continue further research, but we have to also ensure to listen into our partners, to the countries mainly, but also to the other level of stakeholders, and listen in and understand where they really want us to apply this knowledge. And I'm extremely pleased that we have this opportunity to speak about this today. My colleagues will be sharing with you very specifically the context of Central Asia. This context is, we very often think we are very, very specific, and the water challenges which we have are very, very specific. And it's also true, because every basin is different, and every nexus approach in a separate basin is going to be different. But I think it's also worth saying that these challenges are happening everywhere. And there's opportunity to apply the nexus approach indeed for scaling the innovation, for solving the problems, which are similar: the shortage in water, the use for energy, or maybe sometimes overuse, which is impacting the climate change. How can we find a suitable way also to protect our environment, to keep this balance on the sustainable development? So I'm very pleased that we have also very specific link through the Blue Peace initiative. This is an initiative funded by the Swiss Development Corporation, and it's both represented in Central Asia and also Middle East, and give us additional layer for the exchange, and not only exchange, but really linking together and learning together. We are hoping to host a delegation from Middle East next year. We are hoping to be also part of their learning process. So once again, today we are meeting online, but I'm absolutely sure we will continue, and one day we will meet offline. Thank you very much once again for this opportunity to everyone participating, and looking forward to a good discussion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Barbara. So, and our next speaker, Dr. Mohsen Hafiz, Strategic Program Director for Water, Food and Ecosystem, IWMI. And he's the lead of the Global Water, Energy, Food, Environment Nexus Policy Area of Work for CGR Policy Innovation Program. So, Dr. Mohsen, looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much, Maha, for inviting me, and good day, everyone. It's a pleasure to talk about that one, the Water, Energy, Food, Environment Nexus, and my colleagues Tim and then the Barbara has already elaborated about that one. The work for me, the exciting thing is in CGIAR that EMD Executive Director is always saying we need to synergize, we need to collaborate. And this is where we the excellent story where we are combining the two science program and accelerator, as well as also looking on the bilateral project and see how we could provide a comprehensive information on that one. When we talk about water, WEFE Nexus, to me is water is a connector between that one, the food system. Let me elaborate a bit more about that one. Typically, water supply for the food system is one of the important ones, because you cannot grow anything without the water. Then when you're doing it, the water is also important for the food production, which is talking about all the agriculture crops, the aquaculture, everything as a part, livestock and everything that water is required. Then the third stage of water is important as a part of that one is about the water for food consumption. All the processes where we're processing the food from the harvesting to the consumption on the table. That's another important way the water is involved. Then lastly is about the water risk for the food system, which is talking it about definitely flood and drought and all the associated things. A CGIAR vision is for transformation of food, land, and water system, and that we could not achieve it if we are looking in a silo approach. To me, that one, the WEFE Nexus is providing that a systematic lens for the larger transformational food and water system changes, which is fundamentally important. The WEFE Nexus, I'm really glad that we have, this work was started in 2022 and it's going on until 2024 under the Nexus. And now it's a part of policy innovation program where we are looking at around, and Uzbekistan is a pioneer from that, from 2022 to here. Some of the work which my colleague Zafar will present, that's really groundbreaking, and also how that could be built on a different transformational thing under the Blue Peace opportunity, Blue Peace project, where we are looking around the water governance. Water governance is based on evidence-based information and everything, and that's where we are looking around. Nexus is providing the policy analytics. It's also supporting is the advanced system level modeling, how that could be done, and also making sure that we are talking about climate resilient water infrastructure, because more than 90% of water is used for irrigated agriculture. So climate has made a huge impact, and also particularly the women and marginalized community, which has really impacted on that one. So the solution which we are developing under the scaling for impact or under the policy innovation, we want to make sure the solutions are inclusive, which is helping the community to improve their livelihood and ultimately impacting on that one. That we are helping in transformation and making sure that providing a policy enabling environment as a part. As water is a multi-sectoral connector, we talked about the water for food and everything. IMI is proud of that one. We have worked with the World Bank and we have produced that one, the operational guidelines of water, energy, food for the South Asia, which has a South Asian 7 countries, which has a highly relevance, because when we are talking with the multilateral banks, or we are talking any country like Uzbekistan, we have worked 6 years as a country representative. Important is the every ministry or the banking sector, they are working in silos. And this is providing a platform how to connect that one. So they are not thinking about the one silo way, but how the system level connectivity is there and how that connectivity is improving the efficiency and everything. So we are very excited on that one. For the Middle East is also facing the same thing. And when Maha contacted a few months ago and saying this is the program, the webinar, which she's interested in, and I think this will be more impactful, so that we combine the scaling for impact, bilateral, and as well as the policy innovation, where we have it regularly, monthly seminars and everyone as a part of that one. Thank you so much for this exciting webinar, and I will look forward to hearing what are the eminent speakers are telling. Thank you. Thanks back to you, Maha.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mohsen. Thank you to Dr. Barbara, to Dr. Taimuti, and Dr. Mohsen for setting the tone for the and reaffirming actually the importance of scaling integrated solution across borders and sectors and across as well CGR science programs. So thanks again, and now it's our honor as well to listen to Dr. Hazem al-Nasser, former Minister of Water and Irrigation and former Minister of Agriculture in Jordan, and the founder of the Middle East Water Forum. Dr. Hazem will speak about why governance is central for scaling the WEFE Nexus in transboundary context, particularly giving some insights and experience from Middle East region. Dr. Hazem, the floor is yours. And please accept my apology for the time confusion. Dr. Hazem was late because he thought this is going to start at 3 p.m. from Jordan time. So my apology again, Dr. Hazem, please.
Thank you, Maha, no problem. Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizers of this webinar for taking all the efforts to bring to the participants the up-to-date science and development related to WEFE Nexus. Drawing from extensive experience in transboundary issues and cooperation agreements on shared water resources, my introductory remarks for today will summarize key insights related to WEFE Nexus within the context of transboundary or shared water resources as an approach as a tool of hydrodiplomacy. We always have to remember that WEFE Nexus is one of the tools for hydrodiplomacy among riparian parties. And WEFE Nexus initiatives, programs, projects, whatever, can take place before cooperation agreement with certain objectives or after cooperation agreements with certain objectives. Hydrodiplomacy, which is the science of diplomacy plus technical expertise, can use WEFE Nexus in certain basins to boost dialogue, to boost confidence building, to boost or to raise awareness among parties about the importance of WEFE Nexus within the limited resources or the resources in dispute. And for that, initiatives start just to let people talk to each other, because the transboundary governance pre-agreement is very poor and enhanced a little bit once countries reached an agreement, and even post-agreement is medium, poor to medium governance, because the enabling environment of the international law and the water conventions is not ready to make punishment or to make parties ally with the agreements they signed. We have so many examples in the world, maybe one or two examples successful, but in general, agreements are not really very well governed in terms of the agreement signed. Having said all of that, we have the WEFE initiatives that can help before and after. And after agreement, WEFE Nexus initiative usually more successful than pre-agreement, because the confidence building took place a little bit, is much better than before, but still not up to level that parties wanted. The governance enhanced, but still needs a lot of institutions, a lot of capacity building, a lot of agreement on data sharing, on data processing, which takes place maybe many years after the agreement. One of the most important in transboundary issues is countries agreeing on data measurement and data sharing. And this is very essential for a successful initiative, not only in WEFE Nexus, but also in general. For a successful WEFE Nexus between riparian countries, the WEFE Nexus has to be established at the national level. And then we go to the basin level or to the shared resources or the transboundary issues. In many countries, the WEFE Nexus at the national level still weak. For example, in Iraq, the WEFE Nexus is almost not there. And the agreements they signed with Turkey is still beyond any fruits related to WEFE Nexus. Recently, maybe a few days ago, Iraq and Turkey signed an agreement. They call it the documentation agreement, which is part of previous agreements, where the Turkish contractors will implement projects in Iraq related to water infrastructure. So maybe this agreement will open the door to introduce more WEFE Nexus projects at the basin level. Now back to examples where WEFE Nexus is successful or not successful. Of course, there are famous experience. For example, the Danube River Commission and the International Commission for the Protection of the Danube River, and their project which called the Danube River Management Plan. This plan actually is one of the successful plans because it tackles demand for water, for navigation, for agriculture, for domestic use, for power generation, etc. So this WEFE Nexus project out of the International Commission for the Danube River considered to be a successful one. When it comes to the Nile Basin Initiative, they did a lot of initiatives related to WEFE Nexus since they signed the initiative in 1999. But I, most of the time, use a fantastic initiative done by a small country within the Nile River Basin, which is Uganda. Uganda initiated a program related to youth and women in relation to trade among riparian countries within the Nile Basin. And this small country with this initiative, they managed to have successful results out of this initiative, mainly related to increasing agricultural produce from surplus countries, and managed to transport this to countries that in urgent need for food. So they managed to increase food security among parties. They encouraged to break all the barriers related to trade among these countries, and they increased investment within the transboundary countries, mainly related to agriculture and food production. In the Middle East, we have so many initiatives. We have the Blue Peace Initiative. They have this pilot project for WEFE Nexus. We have to wait and see the results because they choose sophisticated and complicated basins like the Euphrates and Tigris Basin. It's not so easy to have a successful project there, but they were successful in the capacity building programs they did for the region. And I think these programs by Blue Peace is essential for WEFE Nexus, for successful WEFE Nexus initiatives among riparian countries in the Middle East. One of the fantastic WEFE Nexus projects, but it failed, which is the Red Sea, Dead Sea Canal project between Jordan, Israel, and the Palestinians. This project has all the elements of successful WEFE Nexus in terms of generation of hydropower, protection the environment of the Dead Sea, provision of drinking and domestic water for Jordan, Israel, and the Palestinians, capacity building, integrated development along the route of the canal. But this project failed. Why? Because political conflict and political overtones were stronger than the technicalities of the WEFE Nexus. So I always bring these examples for the people to know about it and to see how politics can complicate cooperation among parties. The other example, which I feel also it's successful, is the Eco-Peace initiatives in the Middle East. Eco-Peace initiatives, again, this is NGO between Jordan, Israel, and the Palestinians. And these young people, they managed to develop a master plan for the rehabilitation of the Jordan River. Okay, governance is poor. We have to work on it because we don't have the right institutions. We don't have the right organizations. We don't have the right trilateral agreements for that. But they managed to produce a master plan useful for the environment, for the production of food, and to protect the environment of the Dead Sea. So, Maha, these are the remarks that I would like to talk about, considering the time frame you gave me. So I hope it's useful, and thank you again for inviting me to speak to this distinguished gathering.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hazem Nasser. This is actually very fruitful insight reflections that highlight how politics or political will, policy coherence and collaboration drive lasting impacts. Thank you so much. I wish if you can stay with us for the end, if there are any further questions from audience, that would be great. And now for the time management, I will move for the next session before panelists is a case study to be presented by Dr. Zafar Gofrov, researcher at IWMI, who will share lessons from the Amu Darya case study showing governance, innovation, and coordination mechanisms that have enabled transboundary collaboration in Central Asia. Dr. Zafar, please, we can see your screen. If you can make it in a full mood, that would be great. Can you hear me, Dr. Zafar? If you can just make it a full mood presentation, and the floor is yours.
Yes, hello. Can you see my slide as a full screen mode?
No, not full screen yet. If you can just make it full screen, it's still, we can see the sidebar. Yes. If you can.
Just a second. I did it full screen. Maybe it's coming a bit slow. Let me. I'm sorry for this technical issue.
There was a couple of questions till Zafar get his slide. Dr. Hazem, is your contribution was written? Can we have a copy? Because some audience were asking if possible to share presentations and any writing comments. Would that be okay to share with us?
Those are my personal comments, but I can send them to you if you like.
Perfect. Yes, that would be great to share it and make it part of the webinar report. Thank you so much.
Maha, can you confirm if this is
yes, please, Zafar, go ahead. Yes, all is good.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting for this webinar session. And I will be talking about showcasing governance innovations, institutional coordination, and scaling in cross-border resource sharing, and examples from the Central Asia. Myself, I'm a regional researcher at IWMI Central Asia office, and I have been working mainly in the direction of using GIS and remote sensing tools for assessing water management, water resources efficiency, development of models, and climate adaptation. At the same time, I'm a basin coordinator for the Nexus Initiative, Policy Innovations and Scaling for Impact for the RLC Basin. So let me move to next slide. So I'm starting with the challenges and opportunities in the transboundary context of Central Asia. Many of you know that Central Asia is diverse geographically, upstream and downstream. It shares, water resources from the mainly Amu Darya and Siddha river systems, and 5 different countries are riparian countries are sharing these water resources in the region. And there is competing needs, there is improving or there is additional pressure, let's say, for the water resources. Demand is increasing for irrigation, for hydropower, energy generation, for the agriculture, ecosystems. So that's why Nexus is one of the elements or one of the case study that could really come in and work around these different sectors in order to address the challenges that is increasing in terms of water demand in the region. And the other challenge is climate change. So it has additional pressure for the available resources. And there is a need, actually, it's a time to discuss, to sit together with the stakeholders, with research institutions, to really understand how we can really cope with the climate change in order to minimize the risks of the water availability and decreasing of water resources in the region due to climate change. And of course, there is an opportunity, and one of them is WEFE Nexus, that has already started in 2022 from the CGIAR initiative, which Dr. Mohsin has already mentioned, we have gone through many different activities, and through these 3-4 years of journey, we did a lot of work and discussions and engagement of stakeholders in order to understand the situation, how to really address different sectors as a bundle, as a nexus to increase the cooperation and have a sustainable management of the resources. So let me start with the governance innovations. As I said, so we did a lot of engagements with different countries, with different stakeholders. And we are trying to enable, systematic improvements to effectively manage the shared water resources, shared resources in the basin. So one of the main core idea that we were working around is bridging science and decision making. So there is always need for evidence and science-based solutions, so that there is a demand for these kind of activities from the stakeholders, from the decision makers, in order to uptake and work further on the evidence-based solutions to improve the sustainability and shared water management security in the region. So we developed, those are the one of the 3 key elements or key products that we developed for the Amu Darya and Central River Basin, but there are a lot more that we could share, but due to time limitations, I'm talking about 3 outputs. One of the output is Nexus model for the Amu Darya Basin that was developed jointly with the University, Manchester University in United Kingdom and IWMI, that simulates trade-offs between different sectors, water, energy, food, and ecosystems. So that offers, considering different sectors to optimize the management and allocation of water resources in the region. So the other tool that was developed is digital decision support, data dashboard that provides real-time monitoring for the water resources in the basin. One of them is called Nexar, and Nexar it stands for Next Generation of Water Assessment of Water Resources in Kashgar River Basin, that has elements of providing data, near real-time information for the water resources specialists to see the information and make proper decisions. So the other one is alternative water storages that has been also mentioned by the Dr. Hazim, that there is an agreement that has to be there in place so that it really works, the management and the sharing the water resources, because we have greater river systems like Amu Darya and Sirdar, and we have agreements for water sharing for mainly for these big river systems. But when we did alternative water storages, we considered only small transboundary tributaries, because small transboundary tributaries has also tangible contributions, in terms of water resources. But there is limited agreements. There is a few agreements that is there in small transboundary tributaries, and we have nearly hundreds of small transboundary tributaries that is in the region. And in order to bring the discussions and to develop a prototype of agreements, we thought that it will be worth to develop something tangible, something like tools to show to the stakeholders, so that from there we move to development of agreements, so that we have a systematic approach to initiate this kind of discussions and establish agreements. So we have also considered within these activities the development of curriculum for the institutes, academic institutes, in order to institutionalize nexus thinking for the young researchers and for the students, to provide them professional training on what nexus brings itself, to consider, for considering different sectors, and bringing a systematic approach of managing water resources. So we developed Nexus curriculum for the Irrigation Institute in Tashkent, and we have been discussing with other institutes beyond Uzbekistan, not only in Uzbekistan, but other countries in Central Asia, in order to provide the curriculum information or materials for the universities so that they can also uptake and start teaching Nexus elements in the universities and institutes. And one of the key elements of all these activities is it's not just developing tools, it's not just developing instruments and dashboards and all the decision support systems, but the main point is bringing multi-stakeholders into dialogue to show them, all the models and instruments, how benefit are they and what's the added values of these kind of tools in order to move forward with the proper management of the existing or available resources. So this can also be these kind of tools will serve as a basis for initiating establishment or making agreements for those areas, areas we have no agreements in order to share water resources. So we have been engaging with the ministries in the region, basin organizations like, Basin Water Organization of Sirdarya and Amudarya, academic institutions. And while we're developing these tools, we decided that it's always good that we develop these tools as a partnership and make a co-design of these tools so that knowledge remains with them, right? So usually, in some projects, the tools are developed, but at the end of the project, it's somewhere, lost sometimes. So that's why we didn't want to make that, we didn't want to repeat that mistakes and started working with the local organizations, academia and ministries to involve them in order to have proper knowledge for them to really work when the project finishes, when the project ends, so that they continue with this kind of tools for their daily activities and planning of the existing resources. The other element that we have been working is scaling, how we can really scale the developed tools, because as I said, we have been starting with small basin, sometimes canal system, sometimes national wise, but how we can really scale it, how we can scale it, who should scale it? Is it private sector? Is it government organizations? Is it other sectors that has to be there in order to scale these kind of tools and products? But also at the same time, there is also geographical ways of scaling. If it's canal based, how we can really make sure that it works for other regions, it works for other provinces, let's say upstream or downstream, considering the climate conditions, other conditions that is there in particular basin. So that's why we have been working in that area as well, how we can really expand these models and tools to RLC Basin, but not also RLC Basin, maybe perhaps beyond, the South Asia and those sort of regions, to have these models really work and bring added values for the management of water resources. And the other point is institutional scaling. Embed Nexus tools within national, regional water strategies and basin plans. Every country, each national ministry levels, so they have their own plans, they have their own strategies. So we have been working around to make sure that our tools and our work around Nexus activities really focusing the strategies and plans that is there in the region, so that we can really bring added values from these studies for the proper management of or proper planning of the water resources. The other point is knowledge scaling. Nexus curriculum, as I said, digital tools, Nexar, PyWater, alternative water storage, dashboards, those are the examples these days, because we have been already discussing with different stakeholders. And last week, together with Maha was here in Uzbekistan. We conducted a great validation workshop in Kashkadarya province of the Nexar tool that where we involved Minister of Water Resources and local experts and specialists to get feedback and all the information to improve and to improve the scaling and scaling pathways for other regions. And it was very constructive, very good discussion and workshop, so that we have already been convinced that we are on the right track in order to have tangible outputs for the region in the future, so that they can also be a bridge. The local experts can serve as a bridge to further scale this kind of tools for the national and regional context. And enablers, as an enablers, political will is there, because we have been hearing from different workshops and seminars, bilateral meetings through, let's say, area of work 4, area of work 2 of the Nexus initiatives. There is positive feedbacks, and they really support that this kind of tools are in timely being developed, and they really want to have this kind of tools in operation in the departments of each ministries. And also in terms of coordination, of course, these kind of tools will help and will serve as a bridge to coordinate between different organizations or different sectors in the region: water resources, energy, and agriculture. If you have digital numbers, digital information platform, infographics, and meaningful maps, so this will really help them to coordinate, to exchange knowledge and tools in order to have clear picture of the current situation and future projects, and also proper management of the different resources in the region. And also, one of the enablers could be mixed financing in the future, if there are agreed, let's say, clear scaling pathways, and also donor communities can come in order to make better conditions for the local stakeholders to improve and expand this kind of activities in the region. As an output, turning knowledge into impact, how we can really convert.
Sorry, Zafar, you may need to wrap up in 1 minute, please. So just to get enough time for other. Yes, please.
So as an output, this model that we developed is already making operational in the, for example, Chechik Basin of the Greater Cedar River Basin. SIC, ICWC has and they have been working for the daily analysis, and it's already there working perfectly fine. Of course, there are some limitations, but we are, as I mentioned, we're continuously supporting them through committee of practice to improve their knowledge and working around these platforms. And yeah, we have been conducting different various trainings and seminars, and over 200 professionals trained through these activities, and we have enhanced partnerships, not only through CGIAR centers, but also the Blue Peace project that we have been engaging, how we can really bring into this project as well, this kind of activities, and also other research institutes in the region. Youth and women and other community actors are also in our radar to be heavily involved, so that they have also enough knowledge and information. So key lessons: long-term institutional partnership beyond the project cycles. So we should make sure that there is institutional partners in the region, so that they exchange, they learn and coordinate between their different organizations. And localized adaptation of global models. So some of them are global models, innovative technologies. So it has to be there, and young research has to be trained with the global innovative technology, so that they can easily adapt the models. Transparency and data sharing. So once we have this data information, digital data, we'll have transparency and trust between different countries to share the water resources. And Nexus is providing us not just technical integration, but also governance transformation. So this is my closing remark. From fragmentation to shared future, Abu Dhabi has said that the experience shows that scaling the Nexus is a journey of governance transformation. So with this, I think I will stop, and we have publications in all the different models and instruments. If some of you are interested, we are here to share, and I'm here to answer for the questions if there are any questions. Thank you very much. Over to you, Maha.
Thank you, Zafar. Thank you so much for this very fruitful presentation, as well, with real examples of innovation and, let's say, inclusion in shared water management. Thank you so much. So let me move now to the next part of this webinar, which is a panel discussion, where we will have some insight as well from diverse speakers from Central Asia. So we will raise some questions. Hopefully the time will save us for 2 rounds of questions, but if not, we will open as well, like the last 10 minutes question for audience. So let me introduce our great panelist, Dr. Gulanar Karidi, Senior Specialist Basin Water Organization, Central Asia. And we have Dr. Ekterina Gorskov, Project Manager, Center of Nature, Resource and Sustainability, Kazakhstan, German University. And we have Dr. Alexander Nikolenko, Project Leader, Blue Peace, Central Asia, IMI, and Dr. Akmal Karimov, Associate Professor, National Research University, Tiam, Uzbekistan. So we'll start with Dr. Gulanar. Welcome and thanks for joining. So Dr. Gulanar, how have basin water organization in Central Asia worked to balance competing water uses across countries and sectors? So we would love to hear from you in like 2 to 3 minutes, please.
Добрый день. Спасибо за приглашение принять участие в данном вебинаре. Ну, я представляю бассейновое водохозяйственное объединение Амударья. И я в основном остановлюсь, наверное, на вопросах, как у нас решаются вопросы именно в бассейне реки Амударья. Но основой распределения водных ресурсов в Центральной Азии, в частности в бассейне Аральского моря, является соглашение, которое было подписано в 1992 году, Алматинское соглашение, в котором определены основные все вопросы и направления использования водных ресурсов. Значит, основных рек это всего бассейна Аральского моря, ну и основные это бассейны реки Амударья и бассейна реки Сырдарья. Значит, мы руководствуемся основой нашей работы, нашей бассейновой организации, является основой это именно соглашение. Принципы, заложенные в данном соглашении.
Thank you so much. Now I will move to Dr. Ekterina. So from your experience and your work, what role can universities and research institutions play in building the next generation of professionals' capability of implementing WEFE Nexus solutions?
Thank you very much, Maha. First of all, I also would like to thank you for this opportunity to speak at such important event and contribute to raise awareness on WEFE Nexus approach worldwide, as I understand. According to your questions, it's difficult to define only one role of universities, academia, and research institutions in advancing the WEFE Nexus concept. In fact, universities usually play a transformative role. It's a places where mindset change and where formed the first impulses toward interdisciplinary world thinking. As educational centers, universities focus on what truly matters. They train leaders to manage complex environmental challenges in an integrated way. Over the past decade, as I see, there are a clear shift in higher education from multidisciplinary to interdisciplinary learning, especially in environmental and sustainability studies. For example, at our university, Kazakh German University, we run a regional master program on integrated water resource management, where students learn to view environmental issues through a complex and interconnected lenses. They developed a shared understanding of how water, energy, food, and ecosystem interact, and learn how to collaborate across sectors. Also, I would like to say that as a center of knowledge and capacity buildings, university play a crucial role in engaging a wide range of stakeholders. Through educational activities, they help practitioners, government representatives, policymakers, youth, broaden their understanding of interconnected system and strengthen their competences. To make the WEFE Nexus concept more practical, universities often organize events like summer schools, research projects, stakeholders, dialogues, and etc. For example, at our university since 2017, we had an RLC summer school, which brings together young researchers, specialists, experts, government representatives, and entrepreneurs to explore how the WEFE Nexus approach can help address challenges in most vulnerable regions, such as RLC Basin. In addition, at our university, we organize different capacity building events, such as different projects on regional and national scales. For example, there was a WEFE Nexus project from 2022 to 2024. This project was supported by USAID. And the main goal of this project was to unite different stakeholders from ministries, NGOs, youth networks, and demonstrate the benefits of using the Nexus approach at both local and regional scales. The project clearly showed that working together across the sectors is far more effective than acting separately, even when addressing similar problems. Finally, I believe universities and research institutions have a unique role in motivating young people to engage in interdisciplinary research, such as integration, WEFE Nexus approach to different sectors. Through such education, the next generation of scientists and professionals learns to see the challenges from different perspectives, and to develop integrated, collaborative solutions for sustainable future of the regions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Katarina. This is very
Actually, I'm not a doctor. I'm a master.
Okay. Okay. So, Dr. Alexander, would you please tell us how has the Blue Peace Central Asia Initiative advanced cross-border collaboration and trust building around shared water resources from your experience so far? We would love to hear from you.
Большое спасибо, Маха. Я очень коротко скажу, чтобы сэкономить времени. Blue Peace Центральная Азия, так же как инициатива Blue Peace в Северной Африке и на Ближнем Востоке, также в основном работает в поддержку усилий стран здесь, в регионе, в налаживании сотрудничества и партнерства в области управления водными ресурсами. В регионе, как в предыдущие высказывались ораторы, Центральной Азии достаточно большой опыт работы, степень эффективности отображается в региональных государственных документах, которые принимаются на высшем уровне у нас в регионе. Bluepeace Центральная Азия – это инициатива, финансируемая Швейцарией, работает здесь с 2017 года, и я только несколько фактов основных приведу. В рамках этой инициативы поддерживались усилия стран на сотрудничество в области качества воды, поддерживается работа региональной рабочей группы по качеству воды и работа двухсторонней межгосударственной рабочей группы между Узбекистаном и Казахстаном по бассейну реки Сырдарья именно в области качества воды. Там достаточно прорывные вещи для региона делаются. Стороны согласовали несколько параметров по качеству воды химических, и они совместные измерения проводят, общий анализ, и обсуждают совместные действия в области сохранения и качества воды или его улучшения в бассейне реки Сырдарья. Это вот один пример. Второй пример, в первой фазе Bluepeace было сделано очень большое исследование совместно с учеными из Европы, центра Аделфи из Германии, в рамках которого называлось оно «Переосмысление управления водными ресурсами в регионе». Но основной вывод, который сейчас очень хорошо и часто используется у нас в регионе, то, что из-за недостатков трансграничного сотрудничества или низкой эффективности этого сотрудничества в регионе страны Центральной Азии в комплексе теряют до 4 миллиардов долларов в год от ВВП, которые они просто недополучают из-за того, что сотрудничество недостаточно эффективное. Сейчас в регионе у нас активизируются многие процессы, существует как региональная большая межгосударственная координационная комиссия, в рамках которой действует бассейновое объединение Амударья, которое Гульнара представляла здесь, и другие организации работают в регионе. Bluepeace Центральной Азии призвана помогать и развивать сотрудничество между странами здесь в регионе. Мы будем работать еще с поддержкой Швейцарии на протяжении следующих 4 лет. И самое важное для нас – это то, что у нас партнерство, выстроенное партнерство в рамках других международных инициатив или инициатив стран самих Центральной Азии, поддерживать это партнерство, развивать его, привносить новый опыт, который в мире наработан, в том числе в рамках других инициатив Bluepeace, которые в регионе действуют, опыт, который наработан в рамках IWMI, Международного института управления водными ресурсами в различных регионах. И с этой точки зрения я уверен, что у нас есть несколько новых возможностей для региона помочь странам выйти на новый уровень сотрудничества. Потому что в рамках нашего проекта мы не только общую поддержку экспертную, аналитическую проводим, но у нас будет возможность также реализовать несколько пилотных проектов в выбранных трансграничных бассейнах с точки зрения разработки сначала инвестиционных планов, а потом и их реализация. Поэтому это очень важный новый элемент здесь. И еще одно важное новое действие, которое будет реализовано здесь. Мы разрабатываем сейчас новую региональную магистратуру между несколькими университетами разных стран Центральной Азии. То есть не в какой-то одной стране магистратура будет действовать, а именно региональная открытая магистратура с общим курсом обучения, с возможностью обменов студентов и с единым дипломом. Это очень важно, это очень интересно, страны поддерживают, но процесс согласования между странами очень сложный. Я надеюсь, что наша общая работа поможет странам здесь достичь определенного успеха. Работы будет много в рамках Bluepeace Центральной Азии реализовано по самым разным направлениям. Многие из присутствующих здесь знают, но если кому-то интересны будут детали, вы можете мне написать, и я поделюсь вам детальной информацией или презентацией о проекте. Спасибо большое.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alexander. This is very insightful, actually. That would lead us to the next, our panelist, Dr. Akmal. From your academic and practitioner standpoint, what are the main, let's say, challenges in adopting the Nexus innovation at local or farm levels from your experience? We would love to hear part of it.
Thank you, Maha. Good day for everyone, participants. I would like to concentrate on 3 main points, challenges on introducing water innovations at the local level. First one, when it considers that farmers these days, most of them, they are looking for the short-term benefits rather than for long-term strategies. This is one of the points. They are interested in producing crops, say 2 crops per year, 3 crops per year, and sell their products at local markets. or international markets, and rather than thinking about soil productivity, which is a base for the next years. So we need think how to develop farmers' long-term strategy, long-term thinking, which is would be important for introducing farmer nexus innovations at the local level. This is the first point. The second point, this is a need for business models to introduce nexus innovations. One of the there are many nexus innovations are well known, such as biogas production or using solar pumps for pumping water for irrigation needs. You know that these days, first of all, in Central Asia, irrigation is based on surface irrigation rather than, say, in India or in Iran or in other many countries. The irrigation based on groundwater irrigation. So we're shifting gradually from the surface irrigation to the pumped irrigation with surface water and with groundwater itself. So in the nearest future, solar pumps will be very important for Uzbekistan and for our neighboring countries. But in this case, it's difficult to expect that farmers will invest to the solar pumps since in this case they have a budget, and profits, the income is usually equal to the expenses, and solar panels will be in addition, so it will be extra to the budget. So that's why I need new business models when solar panels will be, pumps will be introduced in agriculture. And one of the examples how it could be done, case from the China or India as well, mostly this case is from China, when solar companies lease some part of the land from farmers, and they share electricity free for farmers. This can be done for Uzbekistan, for, say, desert zone where we have a low productivity, low productive land. Not everywhere, but it's not possible to introduce in high productive land. But for low productive land, which is available, which is there in our, say, regions, in many regions, the low productive land available. So farmers can use this land for producing energy, for pumping water and introducing drip irrigation, say widely introducing drip irrigation, and it's in line with the concept of developing irrigation water management in Uzbekistan up to 2030, and it's lined with the strategy of agriculture of Uzbekistan up to 2030. So there are many ways, many options of business development in the available internationally or at local level, which can be adapted to introduce nexus innovations, like for biogas or for many other options as well. But the most important, I would say, that moving further on solar, introducing solar energy, it's doing in the region, in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, where say installing plants, solar plants for 100 megawatts and plant in Kazakhstan up to 500 megawatts. So, but it mostly comes to the say supplying energy for households, for municipal needs, but at the same time, in agriculture, we need to think slightly differently for the local level, slightly differently, and move to the introducing business models for the small-scale agriculture, for the farming communities. And the third point is associated with the second option, needs strong local solar companies, which will contribute to upscaling that or adapting solar panels, their products by farming communities. What I would be concentrate on these 3 points when we say challenges associated with nexus innovations adoption at the local level. Maha, thank you. This is what I wanted to share.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Akmal. So as we have left 15 minutes, I will give the floor again for each speaker quickly in 1 minute. So Dr. Gulanar, if you can give us only one example of an institutional mechanism or agreement have proven most effective in aligning regional water governance with Nexus approach from your experience. Dr. Gulanar, can you hear me? It's okay. So we'll move to Dr. Or Miss Ekaterina. So if you can just let us know how academic and youth-led initiative may contribute to bridging, let's say, the gap between innovation and policy uptake in the Nexus space. It would be great if there are any example to share with us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Youth-led initiatives, first of all, I would like to say that they created opportunities for young people to express their ideas, share feedback, and shape the learning and policy agendas of the future. Today, there are many youth organizations on different scale which take on the mission to bridging gap between the innovation and policy. For example, the World Youth Parliament for Water, which I was member it for 4 years before, amplifies the voices of young innovators at global platforms such as World Water Week, World Water Forum, and other. And advocating for stronger integration of youth-driven solution into policy process. Such kind of initiatives, they help change the mindset of decision makers, highlight the potential of youth, and of course remind all that sustainable policy must be built together with the youth, not just for them or without them. We also see for the last maybe 10-15 years, the youth are not longer satisfied with the simplified decision, discussing the problem. They are taking practical action, and different initiatives such kind of Central Asian Youth for Water, it's a regional initiative. They unified the youth, organized different campaigns, lead up the different projects, and engage directly policymakers to their activities and events. Step by step, this action create visible shift on how policies and how policies are designed and implemented. Also, I would say that both academic and youth initiatives, they complemented each other. Together, they drive the transformation from isolated innovations to meaningful evidence-based policy.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to Dr. Alexander. In 1 minute, can you share with us a key lesson from implementing the Nexus-based regional program in Central Asia that can or could be replicated in other regions? Like you've been hearing Dr. Hazem mentioning the context of MENA. So is there anything from Central Asia can be taken, tailored, adjusted to the MENA region?
Спасибо большое за этот вопрос. Я хочу только подтвердить то, что сказал доктор Хазем. Очень важно в данном контексте является готовность стран к сотрудничеству и к поиску совместных решений. Поскольку мы можем предложить массу вариантов, которые могли бы быть реализованы, но без возможности на страновом уровне это согласовать или внедрить на местах это будет слабо осуществимо или невозможно вообще. И второй вопрос – это потенциал стран. Есть ли в странах потенциал технический, научный, политический и финансовый для реализации совместных проектов? В Центральной Азии есть несколько примеров, которые можно использовать в целом. Это как сама структура межгосударственных отношений по водным ресурсам, так как она у нас многоуровневая в странах. У нас есть региональная межгосударственная комиссия по бассейну Аральского моря. У нас есть отдельные комиссии между странами, и у нас есть отдельные рабочие группы или комиссии по крупным трансграничным водохозяйственным объектам, водохранилищам, гидроэлектростанциям и так далее. То есть вот эта вот многовекторность, многоуровневость работы помогает. С технической точки зрения у нас есть примеры работы трансграничных объектов как крупных водохранилищ, русловых, которые находятся в руслах больших рек, что очень похоже на то, что происходит в ближневосточном регионе, поскольку очень похожая техническая составляющая и сама гидрология рек. И второе, каким образом совместно страны работают. То есть там этот объект может быть общий, но общий объем воды больше идет в сторону одной страны, и эта страна компенсирует определенные затраты другой стороне. Такие механизмы у нас тоже существуют в регионе. Есть механизм взаимоотношений с странами, когда идет компенсация электроэнергии киловатт на киловатт во время скидки электроэнергии в разные сезоны года. Там идет обмен не в деньгах, но в киловаттах. Если одна страна скидывает какой-то объем миллионов киловатт, то зимой эта страна возвращает этот объем киловатт другой стороне. То есть есть несколько механизмов, которые можно использовать, которые у нас в регионе работают. И есть несколько новых инструментов, которые сейчас в регионе разрабатываются, очень сложных. Это в том числе сейчас в регионе строится в Кыргызстане большая гидроэлектростанция Камбарата ГЭС-1. Это будет трехсторонний проект между Казахстаном, Кыргызстаном и Узбекистаном. Сам объект строится в Кыргызстане, высоко в горах, но от его работы будет зависеть экономическая, водохозяйственная и энергетическая устойчивость всех трех стран региона. Поэтому сейчас идут обсуждения, каким образом страны делят не только совместное финансирование этого проекта, но и совместное управление проекта в будущем. Это сложный политический вопрос, но вот он сейчас идет. Вот я назвал как минимум 3 варианта действий, которые мы могли поделиться опытом со стороны Центральной Азии к региону MENA. И я хочу сказать, что у нас уже достигнуто соглашение с представителями WEFE MENA, которые в следующем году, представители Ближнего Востока и Северной Африки, приедут к нам в Центральную Азию, чтобы посмотреть, каким образом это сотрудничество здесь в стране, в регионе реализуется, какие примеры сотрудничества есть. Спасибо.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Alexander. So we'll move to Dr. Akmal for last minute. Please, if you can give us in 1 minute, like our education, let's say curriculum and capacity building program being always like developed in silos. So any advice on how we can reorient to support integration between sectors and sustainable scaling. Any advice from you, Dr. Akmal?
Yeah, thanks, Maha. The university has 4 faculties associated. First of all, it's land management, irrigated land use and reclamation, water resources management, and non-renewable energy, and many others. So it creates a basis for developing long-term strategies for farmers. Yeah, we can create, contribute to developing strategic thinking of farmers. These days we deliver Nexus water, energy, food, and ecosystems to the MS degree students on water resources planning. So, and we hope that this course will be delivered also for the MS degree students from non-renewable energy, from the land management. So these ways we will share thinking of water people to the specialists on land management and in non-renewable energy as well. Annually during the winter time, farmers getting training at local government agencies, hokimiats, we call hokimiats, on water management, farming practices. So, and they have these courses in our university as well, from different departments, and so we will contribute by Nexus training on Nexus innovations to the farming communities as well, to develop Nexus innovations at local level and to the basins level by training on them. We recently we published on Nexus approach for the training manuals, and it in Russian. It will be done soon, very soon in Uzbek as well at local language. So by this we hope contribute to maybe slightly different approach. What we have some opportunities to develop and water diplomacy. Also, we have course on water diplomacy recently opened, new one, jointly with Diplomacy University, so this is what we are doing at university, and hope that it's for future. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Akmal. Maybe last chance, like Dr. Gilanara, are you still there? Can you hear us? Dr. Yes, perfect. So maybe in 1 minute, if you can give us an example of, let's say, an agreement to have a
Ну вот вы меня прервали, вы не дали мне как раз-таки сказать. Я хотела насчет этого и сказать, что у нас есть положительный опыт. Например, и я не буду, конечно, много говорить, но я, например, возьму один факт. У нас, например, самое, конечно, сложное положение, это, наверное, как во всех речных бассейнах, это низовье реки. Всегда бывает самая сложная обстановка. И вот у нас, например, для того, чтобы решать эти вопросы, у нас есть соглашение между Узбекистаном и Туркменистаном. Это было еще заключено в 2007 году, соглашение о регулировании именно обеспечения водой водопотребителей и экологического сброса в бассейн Приоралья. И вот эти вопросы каждый месяц, 2 раза в месяц или по ситуации, по водохозяйственной ситуации, собираются представители, значит, областей Туркменистана и Узбекистана, которые находятся в нижнем течении реки Амударьи, согласовывают, кроме этого, в зависимости от того, какая водность находится в данной ситуации и насколько наполнено водохранилище, которое обеспечивает водой, Туямунское водохранилище. И вот на этом, например, совещание уже регулируется, вносятся коррективы. Например, на вегетационный период или на межвегетацию составляется режим водохранилища, но в зависимости от водохозяйственной обстановки, от температуры воздуха, какая температура, от притока воды, сколько воды приходит, например, в данный момент поступает в низовье. В зависимости от этого корректируются вот эти данные, и эта работа ведется уже много лет, и это пример того, как 2 государства, например, решают вопросы, чтобы именно в равной доле обеспечить всех водопотребителей, чтобы не было никакой напряженности вододеления. И в течение такого уже периода это соглашение действует, и вот эти водопотребители, которые нижнего течения, они удовлетворены. Кроме этого еще обеспечивается подача экологических попусков, обеспечивается. Именно на этом совещании определяется это все. Это вот один из маленьких примеров. Кроме этого, у нас очень много межгосударственных соглашений есть, тоже по урегулированию водных вопросов в бассейне реки Амударья. Кроме того, как я говорила, что это основное соглашение Алматинское, которое по бассейну Аральского моря, и кроме этого есть межгосударственные соглашения, которые регулируют управление водными ресурсами в бассейне именно реки Амударья отдельно. Такое же соглашение есть и в бассейне реки Сырдарья между Узбекистаном и Казахстаном, допустим, о таких попусках, которые должны быть необходимы для того, чтобы не только обеспечить водой водопотребителей, но и сохранить экологическую обстановку, чтобы в какой-то мере, может быть, где-то, если в маловодные годы это недостаточно хорошо, но в годы нормальной водности и в годы многоводные годы, то достаточно вода и в Приорале, это и кроме того, что там, потому что Есть такие земли для обеспечения, например, рыбного хозяйства в нижнем течении, которые, например, для этого тоже нужны эти экологические попуски в реку, в приорале. Это тоже для обеспечения населения продукции. Если брать, мы говорим вопросы Нексуса, это как раз-таки обеспечение продовольственные вопросы также решается в этом контексте. Вот это краткое дополнение, которое я хотела сказать еще.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gulanar. Actually, the discussion was very rich and interesting, and thanks you all, speakers, panelists, and participants for such an engaging session. So today's discussion highlighted the scaling Nexus innovations requires system thinking, trust building, and inclusive governance. So all grounded in evidence and collaboration. Before we close, I may give Dr. Mohsen, if there are any last message from Policy Innovations program. As I see, there is a series of Nexus webinars. So any last message, please?
Thank you, Maha. Really, I mean, the program was very interesting. The time was limited. As a part of the IWMI, we will be continuing doing the monthly webinars. And then that's providing an ideal platform for bringing the practitioners and then the researchers, and also that when the non-CG scientists and the policy makers like which we have it today. And that's an excellent opportunity. If you have particularly any topic where you want to present or something, please contact Maha. We will be happy to convene those kind of things in future. And we are always looking for the really excellent speakers and then the discussant as a part of that one who could work on the complex water, energy, food ecosystem challenges across the globe. Thank you very much, Maha.
Thank you so much. Dr. Barbara, are you still with us? Any last message? Tell Dr. Barbara respond. Dr. Tim, are you there? It seems he left. So yeah, thanks everyone. I would like to thanks again IWMI, Scaling for Impact, and Policy Innovation, Bluepeace Central Asia for this webinar. Please stay tuned for our next webinars and upcoming knowledge products. So this session will be on YouTube. It's going to be uploaded on the Scaling for Impact and Policy Innovation pages, and more information to be circulated on our social media, let's say, network. Thanks for everyone and have a lovely day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.